guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a really exciting reading vlog and we're gonna kickstart it with this Goodreads article. So this is Readers' Hit Books of 2023, so far that is. And this is basically just like the most popular books on Goodreads for the first 6 months of 2023. I'm gonna start this recording and we'll just take a peek. I have already looked at this list because I wanted to make sure that I could put anything on hold at the library if need be. Spoiler alert, need be. So let's just jump in. All right, so first thing is contemporary fiction. I have only heard of, I think, 3 of these before looking at this list. I had heard of Big Swiss. My friend Rachel read it, and Kayla from Books and Lala recently read it. And then I had seen Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano, just like around, but I haven't shown any interest in any of these. This is not typically my genre, but you know what is in here? Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. You know what I have wanted to get to? Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. Yellowface has a 4.16 average rating with 27,942 ratings. I want to say that the most popular is Hello Beautiful with 60,000. No, Someone Else's Shoes, 78,000. Obviously, I don't know how Goodreads decides based off ratings, like what is good. Obviously, Hello Beautiful has a 4.26, so it's got the highest average rating, but I'm not sure, like, some of these have, like, low thousands compared to really high thousands, so I'm not sure what all qualifies to make these lists, but I'll be reading Yellowface for this vlog. And then we jump into historical fiction. Now, this is not my genre. This is so out of my comfort zone. I have seen Did You Hear About Kitty Carr by Crystal Smith Paul. I've seen this around here and there, probably because it's Reese Book Club. It's not one that I'm really interested in, but it is currently sitting at a 3.84 average rating with a little over 8,000 reviews. I have seen Lady Tan's Circle of Women by Lisa C. around. This is a 4.45 average rating with 2,000 ratings. Beautiful cover. The rest of these, though, I haven't heard of, except for Little Wayward over here by Amelia Hart. This has a 4.17 average rating with 29,780 ratings. I will be picking this up. I adore this cover. I think that it is so freaking pretty. It is so cottagecore, woodland fairy vibes. So I'm very excited to give it a shot. I am going to go into it with the most open of minds. I'm a little bit hesitant about it, but it'll be what it be. Here we have a mystery. This should be a genre that I'm familiar with, and hilariously enough, I'm unfamiliar with most of these. I've seen The Queen's Bandit because I want to say, was it Naomi who had this for a book club pick? So I have seen it. It's got a 3.94 average rating, 13,000 ratings. And then I've seen I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackey. 3.71 with 42,000 ratings. This has been recommended to me on Goodreads a lot just because of, I think, the thriller dark academia vibes to it. So I've heard of I Have Some Questions for You. I've put this on hold. I don't know if I'm going to read it for this video because I did decide on All Dangerous Things because this has a 4.13 average rating with 83,745 ratings. Like, this is very popular, which is hilarious because I've heard nothing about it. I have seen What Lies in the Woods, and I have this for a different themed reading vlog that'll come out later. And The Housemaid's Secret, I have zero interest in. I didn't really want to read the first one in the series. I'm not going to start now. So I'm going to most likely read All the Dangerous Things for this fantasy. Of course, Fourth Wing. I've read it. I love it. A 9 average rating. 4.69 average rating. over 100,000 ratings. That's so crazy. Deserved. Hellbent. I've read it. I didn't like it as much, but I've read it. This is a 4.2 average rating with 62,000. A Day of Fallen Night. This is the prequel to whatever that one is. I ordered the Illumicrate special editions of these. I am not ready to embark on that journey. No. But it's good to see it. I'm excited for whenever I get to it. The rest of these I have no interest in. Atlantana and Clemenstra look like Greek stuff, not interested. Victory City I've never heard of, never seen. And The Witch King I have a copy of. I'm not that interested in it. So that leaves Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies and Tress of the Emerald Sea. I'm going to try and read both of these. I have put the audiobook on hold for both of them. I own Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I want to read Tress of the Emerald Sea before I spend $55 on the really nice hardback editions. I don't hate the like buy anywhere editions, but it's not as pretty. So I'm going to try and read both of these for fantasy. And then for science fiction, I don't read a lot of this, but you can see front and center in the Lives of Puppets at 4.909 average rating with 16,000 ratings. I will, of course, be picking this because I love TJ Klune. I'm very interested. I've heard fantastic reviews. I do have a copy. I think it's that one. It's one of those pretty hombres. I'm very excited for this one. The rest of these haven't heard of, except for Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh. I also have a copy of this. I'm not interested in it. I'm going to be entirely honest. It was an Illumicrate special edition. Interest not peaked, unfortunately. And the rest of these I've not heard of at all. None of these authors' names look familiar except for John Mars, who I think does a lot of like sci-fi thrillers and is pretty popular, but I would want to start with like the one before jumping into his newer stuff. So, in Lives of Puppets for that. And then we got horror. As you can see, A House of Good Bones by Teacher Kingfisher. Read it. Enjoyed it. It's not my favorite. It's not What Moves the Dead, but it was fine. And then we have This Lone Woman I've not heard of before, but it's got a 3.77 average rating. Don't Fear the Reaper is the sequel to My Heart is a Chainsaw. I will be reading this at some point this year. I'm not entirely sure when, but I won't do it for this video just because it is a sequel, and I'm not sure how it's gonna work. I think it's like set 10 years in the future. Not sure. We'll get to it eventually though. And then Sister of the Lost Nation, never heard of. Natural Beauty, haven't heard of. Bad Cree, haven't heard of. And then we've got Looking Glass Sound by Katrina Ward. I haven't read any Katrina Ward yet. I'm interested in this. I want to pick it up. It's only got 977 average ratings. I don't know if it's even out yet. If it is, it just came out, and so it's kind of unfair to me, like out of all horror books to be released this year that I barely published so recently, made it to the top 9, but whatever, not my problem. Haunting of Alejandra I have read and I did enjoy it. I do recommend. So that leaves How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. This will be my first Grady Hendrix. I have this audiobook on hold at the library. It's got a 3.0 average rating with 44,000 ratings. And let me tell you, besties, the reviews haven't been great. I have not heard great things about this. I know that the publication got pushed from 2022 to 2023. And people haven't said the nicest things about it. They're not enjoying it, which worries me because it'll be my first. But I'm hoping, because it's my first, maybe I will enjoy it because I don't have anything to compare it to, and then I can read the backlist and be like, wow, these are so much better. But yeah, that's what I'm picking up. I am excited. The premise of it is interesting to me. And now we have romance. Another thing that I don't really touch a whole lot. I don't read a lot of romance. and I don't think we need to discuss it long. I'm going to read Happy Place by Emily Henry. This has a 4.23 average rating with well over 200,000 ratings. Yeah, I have not touched an Emily Henry before. I'm interested. It's just one of those things, like, people have recommended book lovers to me. Out of any romance book ever, everyone recommends me Emily Henry, I think, because it has a bit more of that contemporary literature side, like that very literary feel, because there's more than just romance happening. But I've seen romantic comedy around. I've heard just like very recently Yours Truly be popping up. I am interested in the Dreamland Billionaires series, but I would want to start with the first and not jump into the third. X's and O's, Eliza's read, and I think she really enjoyed it and thought it was cute. The rest of these, no interest though. I'm just not like a contemporary romance kind of gal for the most part, and I'm very particular if I was to read it. And then we get into young adult. I think this is going to be the last section. First, you got Stolen Air, Holly Black. I need to finish the Cruel Prince series before I can dare touch this. But it's got a 4.07 average rating with 50,000. That's pretty good. Cassie Clare. No interest in reading Cassie Clare. I'm going to actually donate all of my Cassie Clare books. I'm just not interested. I've heard great things about this trilogy especially, but it's just like, I don't want to embark on that journey. I don't care. I don't want to support the author that much. It's just not for me. And then we've got A Song of Silver Flame Like Night, which I do own. It's that one right there. I got that in an Illuma crate. This has a 3.91 average rating with 4,500 ratings. So still like pretty baby. And then we've got Atalia Hibbert, Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. This is a romance. No, thank you. These Infinite Threads is the sequel to This Woven Kingdom, which I haven't read yet. The Davenports, historical. No, thank you. And then we've got Forget Me Not, which I haven't heard of at all. Romantic ode to the strength of love and the power of choosing each other. And then there's also The Warrior Girl Unearthed, which I'm interested in, but it's only got 3,000 ratings, so I'm not going to go with it for this. I'm, of course, going to go with Divine Rivals. This is, oh my gosh, it's going to be a series. Letters of Enchantment, book 1. Great. I didn't know that. This is by Rebecca Ross, same author of the Enchanted River Enchanted, and Where Dreams Lie Beneath, which I really want to read. But Divine Rivals is getting up there in hype. There's been a few things, along with like Fourth Wing, there's been a lot of things getting so much hype, and I am just eating it up. I want it all. So this is a 4.3 average rating with 7,900 ratings, which is not a lot, but I've seen it a lot in my circles in my Bookstagram. So I'm really intrigued, really excited. This is going to be a very fun and interesting TBR, to say the least. I have really high hopes for a lot of these. I actually am hoping this is an incredibly successful reading vlog without putting too much pressure on everything. But I have audiobooks for almost all of these through my libraries, so I'm not too worried about it. I was originally not going to read Tress of the Emerald Sea, but I was like, you know, in case any of my libraries get it, I'll put the notifications on. One of them got it. I immediately put that on hold. So the second it's released and available, I will be, I think, third in line, which is really exciting. So yeah, I'm really excited to get this vlog properly started with you guys. I have really high hopes. I think this is going to be so much fun. Hello. So I've made some serious progress on the first book of this video. It was unintended. I wasn't hoping or planning for that to happen, but it came into the library first on Libby, so here we are. It's being read. So I want to say like 70% through How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I'm like pretty far. Not what I was expecting at all. I wish I could read the synopsis to you right now. I'm on my phone, so I'm sorry I can't. I'll look at the synopsis later and then I'll tell you. But right now, what I know, and I don't know what the synopsis promises, but what I know is that we are following a girl. She does have a name. I'm sure of it. I can name every other character. Lula. They call her Lou. Luli? I think Louise? Something like that. I'm gonna call her Lou. We're following Lou, who is a single parent of her daughter Poppy. And the first chapter is like her finding out she's pregnant and getting support from her family, her parents. And then it jumps a few years and she is living with her daughter, not super close to her family, but not like super distant, and unfortunate circumstances happen. Dyslexia is so much fun. Certain circumstances happen, and her parents die in a car accident. So she has to go to San Diego? Please stop flickering at me. Was it San Diego? San Francisco? Somewhere. She goes to her parents' location to deal with their deaths. And she has a brother, Marcus, that she is not close with at all whatsoever. Oh my god, what a relationship. It is rocky, but it is like very sibling-esque. And I adore their relationship. I adore seeing them have this like growth and like reconnection to each other. This book deals super heavily with grief and the effects that it can have on multiple people. And I think it's really well done and really interesting. I don't read a lot of books that touch on grief, so it's really cool to see. And basically, the reading of the will happens, and it's not what we think it would be, and so it's caused some tension in the family, and now brother and sister are trying to figure out how to sell what's potentially a haunted house. I don't know how to talk about this book because I obviously don't want to spoil it, but at the same time, how the hell does anybody talk about this book without spoiling it? And I'm not even... No, it's a spoiler. It's such a big spoiler. I don't know how to talk about this. What the fuck? Genuinely? What is this book? I was so here for the grief. I thought it was so interesting. I thought it was so cool. I was like, hell yeah, we're gonna sell a haunted house. I was not expecting the haunting to be what the haunting is. If you have read this, oh my god, I'm terrified. That is so fucking terrifying. And I'm going to say this. This is slight spoilers, but it has nothing to do with the book. But I recently watched Willy's Wonderland in Allie's Discord. Hardback Hoarders for like her Twitch has a Discord. And we watched it and I was at work the same day, yesterday, when I was listening to the book before and after. And before I was listening to the book, I was like, la-da-da-da-do. Cool. Watched that movie, came back, and like the twist starts happening and like things start getting weird in the book, and I just couldn't see it the same because I just watched a movie that like enforced spooky, freaky, weird possession stuff. And I was just like, what the hell? What is happening? So it's been a time. I have no clue what I'm rating this. It's not a 5-star. It's probably a 4 right now. But, oh my god. What is going on? By the way, the cats love the couch. It's going really well for them. They're so cute. But, oh my god. It's a time that I was not expecting to have. I'm enjoying it. I know a lot of people don't like Grady Hendrix' How to Sell a Haunted House. I would love to know why. I'm going to devour reviews after this. This is my first Grady Hendrix. I have others of his on my TBR that I want to get to. This has prioritized him as an author, But holy cow, this is so fantastic. I'm living the best life right now. It's so entertaining. Like, peak entertainment at the very least. Oh my god. Okay. I've been chatting for so long. I'll check in probably tomorrow. I'll probably finish tomorrow. Probably. Good morning. We're in my kitchen. I think I'm gonna have food. I finished last night How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. And what the fuck? I'm giving it 4 stars. I expected nothing. Had no idea what was happening. Did not expect any of the twists or any plots. I was just, no thoughts, head empty. And it was a lot of fun. And it was so weird and very creepy and eerie. And I didn't like it. I hated it in the best way. So, that's that. I don't know what I'm picking up next. I have a couple audiobooks in. So I've got options right now. But, yes. That's it. Okay, good morning. So I've started Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. And this is my first Brandy Sandy, so that's like monumental on its own. I'm 22 pages in. I've just started chapter 2, and this book is hard for me to get into. It's a little meta. It's a little like, I'm not like other girls because I'm not like the other girls. And it's like breaking the fourth wall. Like, the narrator is talking directly to us and about the story, so it's kind of like being told a fairy tale. The like second chapter starts off with like, were you surprised by those last words? Tress wanted to stay on the rock. She liked it here. Where was her sense of adventure, her yearning for new lands, her wanderlust? Well, this isn't part of the story where I ask questions, so kindly keep them to yourself. Like, it's funny, but at the same time, like, there's a part where, in short, Tress is a normal teenage girl. She knew this because the other girls often mentioned how they weren't like everyone else. And after a while, Tress figured that the group, everyone else, must include only her. The other girls were obviously right, as they all knew how to be unique. They were so good at it, in fact, they did it together. Brandon Sanderson, I don't think you understand what we're talking about when we say we're not like the other girls, and that entire, oh, hello, baby. Hello. I don't think he understands what that means to us when we say we're not like other girls back in the day, because we wanted to be a pick-me girl. We wanted to be special and unique. That was like the whole thing growing up. And now that we're older, we realize that we should not be against other women, and that women are amazing and beautiful, and we should stand together because men kind of suck. Fuck the patriarchy. So it's very interesting for him to be like, I'm gonna take this common rhetoric among females of saying that they're not like the other girls, and then make her exactly that, and miss the whole point of like girls banding together. It's fine. It's not a big deal at all. It's just like hard for me to get into the story. So with that happening, I'm just like, why are we doing this right now? I have no idea what this is about. I have zero clue. I hope I enjoy it. We will have to wait and see. But so far, I'm a little I don't love stories that break the fourth wall. They're not my favorite. So we'll see how it goes. Ooh. Hello. Okay, I just finished Brandon Sanderson's Tress of the Emerald Sea. Wow, what a good time. It's very unique and different, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it broadly just because I don't know if people would like it as much. You've got our main character, Tress, who goes on this adventure to save her love, and you have a different narrator who you don't know majority of the story. You're getting like clues and context and puzzle pieces, and he's very like tongue-in-cheek, very funny, very cheeky, adds a lot to it, but also has a little bit of that like Matt Haig, the Midnight Library vibe, where it's a little bit of a cliche. You definitely have heard these things before, but it like also is like a comforting reminder of just like telling you that you're like worth something, and it's kind of nice. So if you enjoyed The Midnight Library and you want more fantasy, I think you could enjoy the Brandon Sanderson Secret Project #1. I am excited to continue with his secret projects, especially because they're all standalones. They're in the universe, but they're not really like in the universe, if that makes sense. It's no Mistborn. But it's just a lot of fun. I enjoyed the writing and just these characters, the adventure. It's very easy to read. It's not intimidating. It's not too much work or anything. I honestly read the pages incredibly fast. Short chapters, which you know we all love here. So overall, I thought it was a good time. I feel like it's going to be a 4-star. I've had a lot of 4 stars in this video, which is always a good sign. Maybe the people know a thing or two about good books. Maybe that's just the case. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun reading this project, and I'm excited for the other 2. I have the painter one and the frugal wizard's handbook guide book thing. I have both of the audiobooks on hold, so I'm hoping to get those in a month or so, and then I can read them as well, because again, they're just really fun. I really did enjoy the audiobook. The ebook is available on Scribd if you have that, at least in the States. I'm sure it's elsewhere too though, but I don't know. Don't fact check. Somebody does fact check me. Don't take my word for it. What do I know? Anywho, I had a lot of fun with it though. I think it was very cute, and I enjoyed the romance a lot, and that's always like something that I strive for. The character motivations made sense to me. I like the representation. Granted, I'm able-bodied, so I can't speak on if it's actually good representation or not. One of my favorite parts of the story was when they go to the sorceress, who's like the antagonist of the story, and she's sitting on a laptop, and the narrator's like, and her laptop, oh wait, no, I mean magical board thing. I was just like, I love it. I love it. It's just fun. It's a good time. I'm happy to have finally officially finished it. Will I be dropping the $55 to get the leather-bound edition? Eventually. I don't think I'll do it anytime soon, because again, I'm trying to save money and not buy so many books. But I do think I will, if it's still available, time to come, in a few months, I think I would like to buy it and have it on my shelves, and maybe the other ones as well. I don't know, they're just cool. I don't know. Yeah. Hi, I'm at work. I'm completely alone, so I thought I would do this now. Ignore all of the maybe we should do it from this angle. Okay, wait. And I thought that I would knock out this book review while it's fresh. I literally just finished All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. I think it's one of the most popular thrillers, as we've established, and I didn't care. I didn't really like it. I think it's like a 2.5. It wasn't for me. It's a domestic thriller. It's about this girl who a year later is investigating still the loss of her son, whether it was a kidnapping, who did it, how it was done, and just kind of like the after losing your kid to kidnapping, like the fall from that, like how you just kind of like lose your life and things get difficult and whatnot. I didn't like the characters. I didn't care. There was a lot of like dumb red herrings, but nothing was shocking and nothing was entertaining, and those are things that I really look for in my thrillers, because I want to have fun with thrillers. I don't want to just be bogged down with like drama. If we're being honest, like if it's drama, I want it to be juicy and exciting, and this just wasn't really it for me. Yeah, nothing about it intrigued me, and the plot, I didn't know what it was going into it. If I had, I probably would have tried to pick something maybe different, but I've heard such good things that I was like, I'll check it out, but it wasn't for me. This vlog is going not as good as I was hoping. Hey, so I've actually finished 2 other books that I have not reviewed yet, but I'm on the next book, and I've gotten 26% into Happy Place by Emily Henry, and I thought I would check in now while I had the opportunity, because I'm probably going to finish it tomorrow at work. But I'm liking it. it's chapter 3 when we meet the love interest, who is our protagonist's ex-fiance. But the whole setup is that this is like the last friends' vacation at this cabin they've always gone every year or whatever. And none of the friends know that they called off the engagement, that they're no longer together. The long distance didn't actually work out for them, but they haven't told their friends. And now they're fake fiancéing whilst they are spending a week with their friends. And it's a bit of an inconvenience for some things. What I've noticed about this so far is it's very focused on the friends. It's very friend-centric, with the girls who were roommates, and then after they were roommates, the ex-fiance, was roommates with the girls. So there's a whole lot of weird dynamics going on. But I like how Emily Henry, from what I've heard, this is my first Emily Henry, I know. But what I've heard about Emily Henry is it's very, like, literary romance. Like, romance is obviously the main focus, but there's so much more going on with character depth and plots and so on. So it's not just, like, cut and dry rom-com or whatever. It's more emotional, hard-hitting. So I'm excited for that. Tropes so far that I've noticed is fake dating and friends to lovers, which I enjoy. I'm enjoying these characters and their relationship and the friendship and all of that going on. I've smiled a few times, but my biggest thing that I'm not sure how I feel about is the constant flashbacks. Like, I understand that we need to see their past relationship to understand, like, why we would be rooting for them. Like, why do we want them together again? Why would I want them back together? I need to see the friendship to the romance to the engagement. Like, I understand that that's important information for us to have going into the rest of the story, but I genuinely am having more fun with the friends and the fake dating and this whole, like, vacation itinerary mess, because I like the other characters and I like what they bring to it, and I like seeing our two love interests interact in this way. Whereas with the past, it's very, like, them being friends and flirting, and it's cute and it's got me smiling and feeling a type of way, but I'm really enjoying the now stuff more. So I'm hoping that now that we're at, like, 26%, we'll get more to that point. The title Happy Place comes from our main character constantly reminding herself to go to a happy place, and then describing said happy place, which is a memory from often, like, her childhood to college. And that's fine. I get it. But I don't like it. I don't love that part. Like, I get it. You're, like, emotionally going through something and you need to go to your happy place to get through the fact that you have to share a massive bed, one bed trope with your ex-fiance. I get it. It's a lot. I'm sure that's a lot. But I don't care so much about your happy places. I barely know these characters. So it's just not doing something for me yet. But I'm intrigued. I'm engaged. No, I'm not. I'm not that engaged. I've been listening to it whilst running errands today, so it's kind of just, like, been there, but I haven't been, like, sucked into it, you know? But I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's short. It's quick. So I will most likely be wrapping that up tomorrow at work. And then I'll tell you what I rated it and what I thought by the end. And then I'll, at some point, review those other two books, which you might be able to tell weren't quite as much of hits because I haven't felt the need to talk about them or how to talk about them. So that's really fun for me, right? Anyway, see you later. Hello, we're getting ready to go to the lake right now, but I finished Happy Place today at work. I have a lot of personal feelings about the story and, like, how it personally impacted me and it had an effect on me and, like, my personal relationship experience. So for that, it did good. Is it the cause of my depression today? I don't think so, but I don't think it helped either. Had me tearing up a lot, but it wasn't like a 5-star, like I love this read. It was very repetitive, and basically the entire story was just one big miscommunication trope, which was a little bit annoying, because they could just talk and it'd be fine. But overall, I thought it was a good time. I gave it a 3.5, rounded up to 4 on Goodreads. So, but I liked it. Hi, hello. So, I had a Jolly Rancher, and I was getting ready to start dinner because I'm making pizza. Yes, pizza for dinner. And I can't get over the fact my tongue is so blue. I'm so sorry. Before I went and touched a bunch of raw proteins to make pizza, I thought that I would check in on the audiobook that I listened to today. So I listened to Wayward by Amelia Hart. Every time I think of her name, I think of Amelia Earhart, and then I think I'm so wrong that it's Amelia Hart. Anywho, I listened to this. It was very short, very quick. There's, I believe, 3 perspectives. It was kind of hard to tell with the audiobook because there were, I think, different narrators, but they sounded kind of the same. They also had accents, which made it a little bit trickier. But I didn't like it. Oh, so many duds. I know. I'm upset about it too. Apparently I do not agree with the vast majority of readers, which crazy. I was kind of excited for this one. It's historical fiction. It's magical realism, kind of fantasy. From what I gathered, which I'm a little confused because I thought it was 2 perspectives until I saw reviews, and now I don't know. That means that there was an issue with the writing style because 2 of them sounded too similar. What I remember is we are following present-ish day, main character who's getting out of a toxic and abusive relationship with, I believe, their spouse, and upon escaping from this toxic relationship, find out they are pregnant and basically trying their darndest to keep it a secret and reconnect with those of her family and friends, because often when you're in an abusive relationship, the first thing to go are those connections, as well as like stability in jobs and having just overall your own life. So I really enjoyed that conversation, but I don't like pregnancy in my books. When I talked about the things that I hate in books, pregnancy was like top of the list, and that happens a lot in this. It's a lot of the talk, and I didn't love it, but it didn't add anything. It didn't necessarily take anything away. But we are also following this character discovering about their ancestors who follow the Wayward family name. And that's when we get our past timeline, the POV, which is a witch or a not witch, an alchemist, an herbologist, somebody that does healing with natural remedies way back in the day, was the word I'm looking for. They were on trial for being a witch, so that's also happening. And then apparently there was another perspective, and I've somehow just like, this is a bad review, and I understand that. That's like on me. But this book didn't work for me. I wasn't super interested going into it. I don't like magical realism. I'm not a big historical fiction girly. It's really not my genre. So I already knew going into this story that it wasn't going to be for me. So my Goodreads review, although it was a 2-star, 2.5, I do say in my review, and this is all that I say, is it's not you, it's me, because I know it is me. A lot of people love and adore this book because there's an audience for it, and I am just not that audience. But if you're into Salem witch trial kind of vibe, and you don't mind pregnancy happening a bunch in your stories, this could be for you if you like historical. It's, again, very popular, so I know that like I'm in the minority just because of my own personal taste. But that's what I read for this video. I also will start talking about In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune while we're here. I do have the physical book. I'll grab it later when I wrap up my thoughts. But so far, not really a big fan. I'm over these characters and their jokes. They're really weird jokes. They're very juvenile and repetitive and weirdly sexual in a way that I don't really like. Like, I don't need to hear about robots not having genitals and not understanding that. Like, it's just not for me. It's not hitting. This is a Pinocchio retelling with robots. So we are following our main character and his 3 robot ragtag friends that don't have emotion but definitely have emotion, and his robot father, who is raising this only human, the only human to potentially be alive, and his dad gets taken away or killed, unsure right now, but his dad is gone and they're going on the hunt, and that's really all I know. And I'm not enjoying it, which is such a shame because I really love TJ Klune. Can I say he's a favorite author? I cannot anymore because I'm still in the middle of Under the Whispering Door, and I have been for kind of almost a year, which is really bad. But I loved, sir, my dog is playing with the bone. I loved the house in the House in the Cerulean Sea so much that I want to love all TJ Klune, and unfortunately they're not doing it for me. So I'm wondering if maybe if I go to his backlog of books, I'll like them again and enjoy TJ Klune again. But yeah, this one's not doing it for me so far. But I'll wrap up final thoughts when I have some. All right. Hello. I've been putting this off for a bit too long now. Like maybe even 2 weeks too long. I think just like the nerves of coming onto the internet to say, hey, your favorite book, the internet's collective well-loved books, I'm not enjoying. And it's a little intimidating. It's a little scary. Not that I think anyone would ever be mean to me about it, because that would be silly, but I don't like yucking people's yum if I can help it. With that said, let's chat some books. I only have 2 to review that I've been avoiding reviewing. So the first one is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I already need to reread this, and that sounds hopeful, right? Well, it's not. Unfortunately, I only listened to the audiobook, and I thought that listening to it only would actually help me get over the fact that this is written in journal diary entries, because one of my biggest bookish pet peeves is when journals, diaries of the like have full-blown recalls of conversations. Obviously this isn't set in like present because she's not writing it as the action is happening, so it's happening after the said incident, and there's full-blown conversations and dialogue. And I get it, that's how stories work, that's how we make these relationships with characters. I get it. I don't like it because your diary will not retain that much information. And I understand like this is a journal for evidence, for science. It doesn't matter. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. It's why I avoid diary journal style books. It doesn't work for me. So I thought maybe listening to the audiobook would help. The audiobook narrator is good. It was fine. It wasn't anything special or spectacular, but I did not have an ounce of care the entire time. And I also definitely fell asleep during I think what was an important part. And I didn't care enough to like go back. I do have plans to read this in hopefully a month, maybe a month and a half, because I do have the sequel on NetGalley. So, whoops. So I will be revisiting this because I think it has the potential for me to like it, but I think this is one of those stories that you gotta read physical to really be in the world, in the atmosphere, at least for me to keep my engagement. Also, I read this one a while ago now, and so my attention to audiobooks was not as great as it is right now. So unfortunately, it didn't go well. I gave this 3 stars, I think, but upon a reread, it could probably go up because I think there's potential for me to love these characters more and have just like a better understanding of the world. But yes, what is this about? Emily is encyclopedia-ing fairies around the world, and she's in this new place. And romance. Which, the twist with the romance was boring. I'm sorry. Last book that I have to talk about is everyone's favorite TJ Klune, In the Lives of Puppets. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. This is a Pinocchio retelling. This is a Pinocchio retelling set in the future. There are no humans. There are just robots. Robots have taken over. They're doing their robot thing. Humans bad. Humans die on sight. And we are following a boy. A boy who might be a human? Maybe the last? What? Raised by robots. There is a nurse robot. There's Giovanni, whatever his name is. Giovanni. Giovanni, which is the robot dad. He's pretty cool. And then there's the vacuum. And then the 4th one that like comes out of the forest and has a troubled past that's not part of the family. This is found family robots. I had issues with the audiobook. I didn't love the narration. It really irked me, and I did not like the robots. They were not for me. I didn't care about them. I didn't like them. I did not like their sense of humor. Their humor was actually incredibly annoying and repetitive to me. It was very childish and immature. I was just like over it real fast, and then it continues throughout the entire book. Like, I do not need to hear the nurse talking to the vacuum about how the vacuum doesn't have genitalia because it's a robot. Like, that should just be common sense, and I don't need to hear about it, right? There's also romance in this, which makes sense because, you know, TJ Klune does romance. But not for me. That does not work for me. Humans falling in love with robots is not a genre of book I have any interest in whatsoever. I have no interest in any of the AI romances. It's not my cup of tea, but clearly a lot of people love this. It is an adventure story at its heart because they have to go and find and save Giovanni because Giovanni gets taken. He's been lost for a while. He's like one of the best robot inventors or like mechanics, whatever. He works on them, does a good job. They're happy to have him back working for them. And he's been harboring a human, so obviously like no one can know about that. And so they go on a little adventure. You see the world. It was fine. It just barely made it to a 3 stars for me. Honestly, this was almost a 2.5. I just didn't connect to the characters. I did not have an ounce of care to what happened. It took a really long time for me to get into the story whatsoever. The humor always took me out of the story. It just like, it did not work for me. It sucks. It's such a shame. But yes, these are the 2 that I have finished reading. I actually finished these quite a while ago, and I've just been absolutely avoiding it. So I'm sorry. I hope you like these more than I did. I will, of course, keep you updated on any future thoughts with Emily Wilde whenever that happens. But if you are wanting faster updates on my vlogs and you're just like, bitch, you read a lot and I want to know sooner for whatever reason, Goodreads, always link down below. I am very active on there. I'm one of those girlies that just likes to check in on all of her progress and update my thoughts there continuously. So, with these 2 done, and I've now reviewed them, I have 2 left to read for this vlog. Technically, I still need to finish 1 more, but that'll happen before this, so, because this will be out of order, so whatever. So I have 2 left. So, next we have Yellowface by R.F. Kuang and Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Somebody tell me what it is about the Rebeccas this year and their releases. If I love both of these, like I think I will, because everybody else does, Rebecca's, what are you putting in your books? Because Fourth Wing is incredible. Everyone loves Yellowface. Everyone loves Divine Rivals. Rebecca's know what's up this year, and I'm so fucking here for it. So, I think today I'm going to focus on Divine Rivals just because it's a little bit chunkier, a little bit thicker, a little bit more going on. And I think I will read Yellowface whilst I'm on my little trip. Because then I'll look intelligent reading this in a coffee shop, you know? But each of these will take approximately 3 to 4 hours for me to read and finish. So in theory, I could get them done, but I have a lot of things that I need to do today before we head on off. Good morning from our hotel room. Isn't this cute? Okay. Anyway, I have been making my progress through Divine Rivals. I am now stopped in the middle of the chapter to update because I forgot. But I'm a little over 200 pages, which is around like the 50% mark. I am enjoying this. I don't think I'm enjoying it as much as everybody else, but I like the Rivals part to it. I think that they're cute. The writing is incredible. I'm loving the writing style. I'm loving the descriptions of the world and the smells. I think that's very well done. I'm enjoying the plot. I don't think I really understood what this was when I was getting into it, but now that I have like a better understanding, I'm actually really enjoying the plot. So in this, we're following Iris, who is working at the Gazette after she drops out of high school to kind of make some money and help make ends meet, because her mother is an alcoholic and her brother has recently been deployed. I say recently, it was like 5 months at the start of the book, going on 6 to where I am now, but he's been deployed into the war that's going on in the West because of these 2 gods, and I was not expecting godhood of any kind to be in this, like that high fantasy side of it. Like, this feels very like World War II World War II era kind of book, but like in the sense that it's just olden times, little electricity, sending letters, newspapers were important, you know, just that more like historical setting. But instead of it being like a historical accurate thing, it's a fantasy war because of feuding gods, and I think that makes this more interesting and really fun to grip. And I like the mythology that's kind of sprinkled through the pages. But we also have our male main character, who sometimes we get his perspective of, but it's not too much, it's not very overwhelming. His name is Rowan, and he also works at the Gazette. They are rivals, they're competing for the same promotion, and they're both talented writers. So they have like these feuds, very like witty banter, very fun and casual, and it's not like I hate him kind of rivals. It's just like a competition, it's annoying, they think they're better than each other kind of rivals, and I like that aspect, that perspective, and I'm enjoying their relationship. But we've gotten further from that. Some unfortunate events had happened, and Iris has decided that she's going to write from the front lines and like close to the war. 1, to see if she can get news on her brother, and 2, to write about what's happening and find the truth and learn more about it and share with the people. And I really enjoy it. I love the characters that have been introduced since this shift, and I'm really enjoying how she's meeting soldiers in the infirmary and is offering to write letters to their loved ones because they have no form of communication. And I just really love that. Like, that just adds such a nice, sweet charm to this story for me, and it's making me really love Iris so much more. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm having a great time. I don't know if it'll be 5 stars. I had really high hopes going into this. I'm gonna be honest. I really thought that I was gonna eat this up and love it. Jane Agaton loves this. My friend Eliza from Eliza's Bookshelves, she loves this, and I like it. I wouldn't say that like I'm obsessed. There's still there's 150 pages left, so something could shift, something could make me love it more. I'm definitely intrigued to see how their relationship is going to develop. Oh, another thing. She has one of 3 typewriters that exist in the world. Super rare, super magical. That's where your main magic comes in. And this typewriter that she has is connected to 2 other typewriters in the world and can send letters directly to each other through like portal magic. And I think that's really fascinating. And I'm intrigued to see how that plot line continues and plays out. But yeah, that's like the main gist of magic. And then there's like Narnia, World War II vibes, where there's like sirens of bombings and hounds and all this like fantasy stuff, while still set in like scary war times. I'm really enjoying it. It's probably like a 4-star right now, but not like a high 4, probably a lower 4. But we will see. I have like an hour and a half left of this, I believe, and then that's another one down. So that's kind of what's going on with this. But I will update you guys when I finish it. I am tabbing it, barely. I've got 2 tabs for sweet kind of relationship-y moments between Rowan and Iris, and then blue is just for writing that I'm really enjoying. So we're reading the book. I did it. I read it. It's done. I finished. Woo! I don't know. That ending was a little bit lackluster for me. I think that's what it was. I think the ending was a little bit meh for me. So, Divine Rivals was fun. It's very historical. It's very like Narnia, but if Peter or whatever his name is actually like went to the front lines. I do like it. I like the premise a lot. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, and I like it, but I don't love it. I like the characters, but it's very fast-paced of a romance, and there's very few conflict in between them, which I do enjoy. Like, the 3rd act conflict of the romance wasn't completely agonizing to read, and they worked it out pretty well, but then it, like, again, moves very fast-paced in their romance, which I don't mind too much usually, but it felt so for me. Their communication, although like it's good, like they talk to each other, they write beautiful letters, but the dialogue feels very stilted for me, and it just like it didn't feel as natural of conversation to me, which really took me out of the story. But yeah, I don't know, I liked it. I liked the premise. There was nothing surprising about it. It follows exactly how you think it would. I'm very excited to hear more about the gods, the god side. We get the gods' perspective in the epilogue, and I very much want to know more about that. I want to know what's going on there. I want to know more about the gods, which I do really enjoy, like the fantasy side of this, but it's great war scenes, wonderful writing. I think that Rebecca Ross has a beautiful writing style, but it just didn't hit very hard for me. I just didn't love it. I didn't adore it. I didn't fall in love with anybody. I love the side characters the most. How dare Rebecca Ross make me catch feelings for a cat and then there's no answer about if the cat's okay or not? That's rude. That's really rude. There was no need to introduce that cat at the end of the story just to leave me hanging with bad thoughts. But anywho, yes, another one bites the dust. It's done. We did it. It's great. I'm thinking 4 stars. I think it's a 4 stars. I can see why people like it. I don't quite get why people love it so much. So I'm definitely interested to hear more people's thoughts. I know like Jane Agaton loved it. Reading with Neva loved it. I know Eliza loves and adores it. So I'm curious to hear more people's thoughts, and see like what it is about them that really did it for them, if it's the romance or if it's just a setting or if it's just the writing. Because like, again, all of those things are good. There's something that's missing from me. I don't know. But now I think I'm going to finally finish. Yellowface is going to take me about 3 hours. I'm doing my first sprints today, so I will definitely get this wrapped up today. And then I can hopefully finish Tress, which I know, again, this will probably be out of order, but that's actually what's happening. So, yeah, Yellowface. Asian author has this manuscript, writes a book, it's really good. They die. White woman takes book, publishes book with her name. And people are like, is this cultural appropriation? That's a little weird. Not a thriller, but marketed as a thriller. I'm really intrigued. I know R.F. Kuang does more like literary magical realism type of stories besides the Poppy Wars, obviously. So I'm going into it expecting that, but the way that this is marketed as a thriller, really, I don't know. I will read it and find out if that irks me or not. But from what everyone has said to me, I'm a little nervous, a little hesitant about it. But either way, that's what we're reading. That's what's going on. Hello. So I didn't end up checking in whilst I was actively reading it, but I finished this. It took me 3 hours and I liked it. I would give it 4 stars. I think it's good, but it is not the plot. And I know that's not a fair comparison because there's enough differences, but in reality, like, I would rather read this as a thriller. I understand 2 Asian American or people of color, diverse authors, this is like their horror story, and that makes perfect sense, but I just didn't feel like it really was able to say a lot. I don't know. Obviously, we're following a white character, and this white character is a little bit delusional and thinks that she's in the right, she's doing the right thing, she's doing good, and believes that she's not this bad guy, this victim, this antagonist, whatever. And I get it, and I understand the conversations of cancel culture, how it's not real and it doesn't actually impact people whatsoever, and it's really just like a hiccup in their career for a little bit, and then things kind of go back on track and they fix their behavior and stuff. And I'm all for forgiving certain offenses, and like, I think that Twitter is its own mess that I'm not on for specific reasons, and it talks about all of these things, but it doesn't really dive in to them. It just like leaves it for the reader to understand what's written in between the lines, which is fine. I think that's good, unless, say, a white supremacist pick this up. I don't think they'd get the meanings, you know, and I know that's not anyone's job to do. That's not literature's job. Maybe we can be a little bit more direct with our word choices in books like this. It is literary. I've seen reviews say that it feels a little bit too autobiographical for R.F. Kuang, because R.F. Kuang would be Athena, who wrote Babel, and I kind of get it, But yeah, I don't know. It was good. It's so focused on loneliness and competition in the publishing world, and a lot about the publishing world, which I did enjoy, but 300 pages of just trying to write books, writer's block, being so consumed with the reviews and stuff, I think that is legit and is something that happens, but I don't know if I necessarily want to read that for 300 pages. It's just not really gripping enough. But R.F. Kuang writes beautiful. I enjoyed the messages. I enjoyed what's said. It makes sense to me. It just didn't hit as hard as I thought it would. It didn't, I don't know. Like, it's good. I recommend this widely. I think it's important. I think that it mentions a lot of topics that we just kind of pretend don't exist. The diversity issue in publishing is a very prominent problem, and how white people can tell the stories of people of color and have a better chance than the actual people who want to and need to tell their own stories and historical stories. The conversations are great, really, truly. R.F. Kuang is a genius. We all know this. She's so smart. She knows what she's doing. She's good. But this one just didn't hit quite as hard for me. I didn't quite love it as much as Babel, which I'm still only so excited for reading the Poppy War trilogy. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be so good and so fun, and I'm so excited. But that's that. That's basically it for this video. Because we're gonna splice things around a little bit different, but I hope you guys enjoyed me reading the best books of 2023 so far. I'm excited to see where we go from here for the last 5 months of the year. That's so crazy. I can't believe it's almost August already. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm very excited to see what's going to be on the Goodreads like awards, best of the years. How much of them I'll have read, what is considered best from here. I feel like a lot of these are big names, well-known names, such winners. It all makes sense to me. I think the most surprising would probably be Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, because she doesn't have other big books like T.J. Klune, Grady Hendrix, R.F. Kuang. What else did I read in this video? Brandon Sanderson. Like, these are all very big names and big authors, so it really does make sense that like they're the best of 2023. But obviously that's not quite the case, because not everyone's gonna agree, and just because you are a large author does not necessarily mean that you are the best. And so it's fun to see like what people are widely picking up. But I'm definitely excited to jump into some lesser known books again, read some indies. I think I want to jump into some Kindle Unlimited for the rest of the year. Try more of that out. I'm very excited for reading though. I've had so much fun. This video I'm gonna call quite a success. There's a lot of 4 stars, a couple 5. Was there 5? Definitely 4 stars, and then some like 2 stars. So it's interesting to see what the masses really enjoy versus what I, a small little reader on the internet, enjoys, and how vastly our opinions differentiate. It's interesting to me, but I had a lot of fun with this one. I actually really enjoyed these reads. So thank you for watching and hanging out with me. Let me know if you've read any of these, if any are still on your TBR that you want to prioritize now. I'm curious to know. And I will see you guys in my next video really soon. Bye!